So this is my first interview, so please. You want to see my consent form, Stuart?
Yes, please.
So I will leave you
Sabina Singh.
Yeah. And if you can sign, I guess, one copy for me. My university makes
You
sure
want me to
that
sign
yeah.
my full names and signature?
Yes. So that they know that I'm doing this ethically, right?
Yeah, right. Ethically true.
Everybody's happy and okay. And I'll also show you my,
Oh, yeah, put space here for, this is signature.
for your signature, yes. These are my questions. I think I need to keep working on them and developing them as I meet people and see how what they think and if the questions are. Because I'm new to Uganda, so maybe I don't know always the right things. Okay.
Today is 13th.
13th.
Yep.
Okay. So.
Kana mgenyi wa Stuart akana. Na swala na mgenyi wanda na interview nkutira after 20 settlements.
No, Jesus, what do you have any thought when you read over this? Does this seem okay?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you can begin because
yes, so my questions were, what were the main strengths of the LC system before the transition to multi-party?
Yeah, the local
council
systems before the multi-party dispensation was all-inclusive, all-embracing, non-polarized, and on-issue debate, whereby there was inclusion and participation of everybody on individual merit. It was an individual merit system. However, these elections of lower local governments compared to the earlier colonial government arrangement had advantages and disadvantages. There was grassroots democracy, whereby right from the local council one at a village, they elected their own leaders. And therefore, power was given to the people to elect who leads them, up the lowest level. But the danger with this, in contrast with the earlier system, whereby the district commissioner, the central government, or the local government, the center of the periphery would designate, appoint a person to do community work, to work on primary health care, as a directive, compelled people not to beseech them. Now, the negation of this, if I can call it relegation of this over democratizing, has been the challenge is that these elected leaders do not command authority. They beg, they beseech, because they are seeking for another election.
From the people.
From the people. So there is a price, there is a trade-off between what the community should be done as community duties and responsibilities. There seems to be a lot of rights, liberties, entitlements without duties and responsibilities of citizenry. So I think citizens' duties and responsibilities should be brought above everything. Now, the multi-party dispensation has even multipartyism, the return to multipartyism was not avoidable. It was necessary.
Okay.
But there was a rush. If you check the Ugandan roadmap in 2005, from the NRA, from the movement system, the no party democracy, that's what we called it, the no party. The movement system was a no party democracy.
Yes.
No party democracy. We switched 2005 from no party democracy to multi-party democracy without preparing the without preparing the local governments, without preparing the parties were just being formed at an nascent stage, and this definitely did not give us a good transition. Myself, I'm of the view that multipartyism in the parliament and at the district headquarters is okay. But I have my reservations to the extreme multipartyism in the LOC1, in the parish, and the sub-county. Because these are communities which are coexisting. These are communities living together. Why should you bring partisan issues above their coexistence? So we are losing some harmony, we are losing some cohesion, we are losing some issue debate at that level because we are hyping the parties. Which parties are at formation stage? The parties in America were formed long ago. They have since built systems. They have controls. They have networks. They articulate interests from the people. They aggregate interests from the people. And therefore form an ideology. And from the ideology, you know what you're doing. Here, parties are forming. Some could even be tribal. Some could be religious. Some could be parochial. Discussing trivial issues. Some could be nationalistic as opposed to patriotism and national building. And you bring them to a lower level, it is a mess. So my own view is that we should have started with parties at the party and the district and allowed the communities to continue coexisting in harmony, looking at what are their needs. Now, apart from the parties being at formation stage, we also have a challenge of interest groups formation. Interest groups, before you go partisan. Interest groups is about livelihood. Interest groups for farmers, for fishermen, for, the trading community, the small-scale artisan workers. Now, if we had the interest groups already organized, then we can talk of a middle class. Then the middle class interest would engage every political party to toe the line of the interest groups' needs. But what's happening today is because we are balkanized into a peasantry community, into a mixed community. When you bring this kind of politics to this community, it's a confusion. Because interestingly, in Uganda, you'll find a farmer against another farmer in politics. You'll find a fisherman against another fisherman because of a political party. You will find a trader who is suffering the same brunt of a tax against another trader in politics. What does that mean? It means that the parties are still not ideologically clear. It means that the masses are in parties, possibly because they like an individual, possibly because of fear of the insecurity of the old governments, possibly because they have no hope, possibly because they are not very sure of the future. And that is dangerous. Because we should be in parties because of the party's vision, the ideology, and how we think the party can be used as an instrument to achieve the aspirations of the people.
Yes.
So at this formation stage of the multi-party, it's far from that. So therefore, the followers of the party are not very, they are just there, but I don't think they know what they are. So that's a very big challenge. That's why I thought another 5 years of civic education, another 5 years of popularizing multi-party dispensation, another 5 years of talking of multi-party opposition as alternatives and not as enemies, another 5 years of reminding opponents that they are not there to bring down government. They are there to provide alternatives, and they are just a government in waiting. But not to criticize government for the sake of criticizing. That's a very big challenge. And criticizing everything government brings, including MDGs, including the Millennium Development Goals, the universal primary education, public health issues, environment issues, which are largely generation of power, which is lacking. So it ceases to be opposition.
Where every party is actually working together.
It becomes a mob. That becomes polarization. And yet multi-parties would be giving alternatives. Can you produce energy better? But you don't say don't produce. You don't say universal primary education is bad. You say you can provide lunch. Yeah. That's value addition, as it were. So we have a challenge when we get down there on environment issues because of these challenges, the polarization between the ruling government and the opposition. We have challenges on everything to do with the tax. You say we need this tax as a local council. The other one say we don't need a tax, and yet they want services from the local authority. So this is a real challenge. So I think we need to step up. Now that we chose to go multi-party, we need to first put it up, parliament, district. But down there, people should need some 5 years or even 10 years before they can be engaged. But unfortunately, as we speak now in Uganda, the local government elections, local council elections were delayed because the opposition, FDC, went to court insisting that elections, even at that level, should be done under multi-party. And Parliament has put in place a law to that effect, but unfortunately, it is not good for the country. It is legalistic. We are doing it because of the legal battle, but it's not in the interest of the people.
So I guess there's one more question for you then. You said already kind of answered that the legal battle is sort of the reason why this transition occurred. So that would be to the main reason that the FTC going to court to make this transition towards multi-party, or what were the main reasons, if you could give?
For me, I thought a roadmap should have been put in place. A transition should have been managed. The population should have been prepared.
But you said
but now it's a legal compulsion. Are the people ready? Are we prepared? Are the institutions ready? That's the question. So it becomes an egg and chicken situation. What comes first? Preparedness of the people? Or by osmosis, people will switch to become multi-party, and which is impossible.
Yeah. Because you said it was a no-party democracy.
Yes.
So then is this more democratic?
Before what?
Multi-party. Is multi-party then, is it do you see it as having this potential to be more democratic or
You see,
just divisive?
multipartism. Let me start with pluralism. Competition and choice is mandatory. Competition and choice is mandatory. It's healthy and it should be encouraged. But whether pluralism should mean winner takes all multipartism is another question for Africa. I have said before, and I continue saying this, that you can have pluralism without winner takes all. The American system, whereby the winner makes a government and the opponents are in waiting for the next 4 years, is not tenable in Africa. Because America is 170, is now how many years? 200 and
years old.
1778, if I can still remember my American history of the American politics. Uganda, we are talking of a country at formation stage, 40 years after independence. You are talking of the state owning everything. America, you are talking of the private sector being in charge. Why do you promote? Because winner takes all is an exclusion. Is an exclusion politics. That you others, you keep at bay, you are in the waiting for another 5 years. And in a Ugandan case, it can be for another 30 years. And that is not democracy. It's not a hybrid. For me, the hybrid would be a power sharing by numerical strengths. By numerical strengths of representation. You get 70%, you provide 70% of cabinet. And the 30% goes to the minority. So we need to have a win-win situation. We need to have government of inclusion. We need to avoid exclusion. We need to have governments of national unity, and we need to have power sharing, whereby we contribute to our country, all of us, for the national building, depending on your performance. And that would avoid a lot of conflicts in Africa. Zimbabwe is doing it by crisis. Kenya is doing it by crisis. I said this in 2003, and I think this could be done by design, by plan, by structures, by systems. We don't have to wait to have bloodshed, to have conflicts, to go into government of national governments of national should be designed within the multi-party dispensation. So we need a hybrid multi-party arrangement, which is not a winner takes all, but a government of national.
Yeah, thank you. I absolutely agree. So, I guess the hardest question for me to ask you then is maybe not, is about, from my perspective from the West, I come to say everyone's saying, oh, you need multi-party system, you should be from the, from the outside, people are saying, oh, well, multi-party is what democracy looks like, right? And that is that's where my dissertation is challenging that sort of idea that, and
you see, as I said that pluralism is universally a virtue. Pluralism. It is desirable. It is an ideal for humanity, not only for Western world, not only for America, not only for it is desirable. What I am contesting is the winner takes all multi-party. That's what I'm contesting. And I think, as I'm putting on this suit, the others should be allowed to design their size, because I'm size 58. So we need to make a tailor-made a design specific for an area. Their cultural backgrounds. In African culture, it is not proper for one member of the family to be on the dining table when others are not. That is exclusion. We sit and do everything together. We must all be on the table. We must all be on the discussion table. So the culture of exclusion and winner takes all is not African in the first place. It's not African. But I think even in America, I've seen some people, some Republicans being called by Democrats to serve the country. So nation building and serving the country goes beyond partisan interests.
In the early years of American and British democracy, parties were very frowned upon. They did not want parties. They thought they were exactly...
So that's my understanding. Hello? From? Yes, please. When is that? Am I around? Says that what time? Keda, where is that? Sheraton Rwenzori. 6:30. We said it's how much? Okay, tentatively I'll be there, but you can confirm with me again on Wednesday. I don't know if that
It's
gives you an idea.
Thank you. Just
Oh, thank you so much. This is from the
from my
Political Science.
university.
Ah, okay. Simon Fraser University.
Mm-hmm.
In which state?